ESPN brings you live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour. We're coming to you from historic Riviera Lanes in Fairlawn, Ohio, host of the Tournament of Champions for so many years. Today, Walter Ray Williams Jr. goes for history of his own as he tries to tie the all-time PBA Tour title record of 41. Now, Walter Ray and 3 other bowlers are ready to roll.
With 22 career Denny's PBA Tour titles, today marks his 6th TV Finals appearance of the season. From Claremont, Florida, Norm Duke.
Norm Duke is making back-to-back shows for the 2nd time this season. In match play this week, he led all players in average, strike percentage, and spare percentage. Let's see if the law of averages finally catches up with him as he tries to win his first title of the season.
Looking for his first Denny's PBA Tour title, today he makes his 2nd career appearance in a television finals. From Fayetteville, North Carolina, Chris Collins.
Come on, King.
Chris Collins came within 1 shot of winning his first ever career title in his first ever telecast. Now in his 2nd TV appearance, he will have to rely on all of his skills to get by one of our sport's greatest champions in his opening match.
He has 7 Denny's PBA Tour titles, including the 2005 Dexter Tournament of Champions. Today marks his first TV Finals appearance of the season. From Yorkville, Illinois, Steve Jarus.
Steve has made at least 1 TV show in 15 consecutive seasons on the Denny's PBA Tour. Today he will have to hurdle a major obstacle in order to win his 8th tour title.
With $3.5 million in career earnings and 40 Denny's PBA Tour titles, today he can tie the record for most PBA Tour titles from Ocala, Florida, Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Hard to believe it's Walter Ray's first show of the year, but keep one thing in mind. He's making a tour record 150th appearance. Today he continues his quest for bowling's holy grail, Earl Anthony's 41 career titles.
These are your finalists competing for the title of the 2006 Pepsi Championship.
There is so much history associated with this bowling center and the Akron, Ohio area. Akron, the original home of the PBA. Riviera Lanes has hosted 31 tour events from 1966 to 94. This center played host to the Firestone Tournament of Champions. One of those was won by Norm Duke back in '94. Randy, let's look at the matchups. Walter Ray, another chance at history.
Dave, we'll find out soon enough if today is the day for Walter Ray. It took only a 206 average to make match play. We use a single game elimination match play format. Win 4 games in advance, win 3 matches, hey, it's TV time. This week our 4 finalists went a combined 48-10 in match play. Chris Collins lost only 1 game, and Norm Duke averaged an amazing 247 to make his 6th show. Dave, let's go back to you laneside.
All right, Randy, thanks a lot. We're going to recite Norm Duke on TV. 6th show of the year, 2nd time you made back-to-back TV show appearances, but still no wins. With that knowledge in mind, how would you best evaluate your season?
Well, you know, I've been relentless, but I just haven't been victorious. But I keep going to the well. There's going to be water there someday.
Thanks, Norm. Chris Collins, 2nd TV appearance for you this season. In Albany, you made the final loss to Mike Wolf. What did you learn from that experience?
I thought I bowled a pretty good match. I'm just going to take my experience from that show and just try to, relate it to here. Still make good shots and maybe get some breaks today. So hopefully it'll work out.
All right. Norm Duke, Chris Collins, Randy, set to go. Shark pattern, the longest on our tour.
Right you are, Dave. 43 feet, which equals a lot of oil down the lane, makes the back ends really tight. And this pattern was designed to force the players to play left of the 2nd arrow and just migrate in. But because of the topography of the lanes this week, there's a few players that found a home throwing the ball from right to left around the 3, 4, or 5th board on the right side. Look for Chris Collins to play in. And you know what? If that outside shot isn't there, Dave, Norm Duke, the versatile one, will find a way to move inside.
Just last week, Norm on TV, Cheektowaga, New York, in Buffalo. Came so close, but lost in the final to Doug Kent. Has a 4-pin to start his day here in Fairlawn, Ohio, where he won a Tournament of Champions title. It was 2 majors. ...21-pin loss to Doug Kent. Doug won his first title since 2002. He's back in the Dexter Tournament of Champions field, right on the top of the 28 players. We're into that event. There are 2 regional champs, 2 senior level champs as well. And now the energetic, charismatic Chris Collins. His wife Julie is here. We'll tell you a lot about that family. Tremendous athletic backgrounds. High first shot for Chris Collins as he goes for his first ever title.
Can I grab a ball over there?
Good add a ball to the arsenal early here, Randy.
Well, he's going for another ball to shoot the 3.6910, the hardest spare on tour. You see a lot of players nowadays throwing the ball straight right at the 3.9 and trying to carry the 6.10 out because of all the oil down the lane, because of all the oil to the right. It's really hard to get the ball to hook into this spare.
And he covers nicely. Well done by Chris Collins. And that gets us into our first Ace Hardware matchup of the day. Collins looks for his first title. Norm has won 22 times as he tries to climb that list.
Chris Collins, like I said earlier, he lost only 1 game in match play, 2 sweeps. His last 2 matches, the round of 16 and the round of 8. Norm Duke, man, like he said, he keeps going to the well. Eventually, he's going to find water, and who knows? He's going up against a guy who's only making his 2nd career telecast.
The first came in suburban Albany, New York this year. Takes down all 10. He beat Jack Turek from the Buffalo area in the semifinals and lost to Mike Wolf, as we talked about. His wife Julie did make that show as well. His twin brother Chip is here. Chip, a very good athlete in his own right, excellent bowler, and what a golfer he is, as you know very well.
Yes, I do. Had a chance to play golf with Chip in Alabama. He never missed a shot for 36 holes.
Yeah, there's Chip in the background behind Norm Duke. Yearly had the big 4, has a very difficult split to deal with.
Yeah, he goes through the nose and leaves the 4-10, and you know, it looks like a similar line that he played last week, with the exception of ball speed. But keep in mind one thing: this oil pattern is nothing like we bowled on last week, and I have no idea how those guys are able to play outside on a pattern you're not supposed to play out on.
Leaves a 10, early open frame for Norm Duke. So that's a big question mark, Randy, as we see how Norm got here over Joe Ciccone in the round of 8. Joe trying to make his 2nd show, works on our ESPN shows. Nice week for him. Mike Scroggins, who beat Norm for the Masters title this year in Milwaukee. Norm has had just a tremendous season. 6 shows. That's tops on the tour. He is top 5 in earnings. Tommy Jones is the leader. He's number 3.
2nd on the point list.
2nd in points. So Norm has been brilliant all year long. Just can't get himself over the top, especially in a final, to win a tour title, which would be his 23rd of his great career. We asked him yesterday, glass half empty, half full, with the 6 shows but no wins, and he said, doesn't matter when you lose. If it's in the finals, it's even more painful than losing early on at a tournament. He considers himself a loser in that event. You have to win the title. That's what they're all bowling for. Same for Chris Collins, who's high again.
I'll tell you what, you keep leaving the 3.6910, and eventually you're going to miss one. He's got the same thing left in the first frame. But, you know, getting back to what you were talking about with Norm Duke, he'd rather finish 3rd, 4th, finish 6th, not even make the telecast, than to finish 2nd. He said 2nd, there's not a worse feeling in the world than finishing 2nd, because you were right there, you had a chance to win, and you let it slip through your fingers.
Yes. second straight time, Chris converts the difficult spare multi-pin pickup.
Yeah, that's like throwing a three-bagger on tour when you make the 3, 6, 9, 10, then you go strike, then you make the 3, 6, 9, 10 again.
Red hot bowling for Chris Collins to get this far. 4-game sweeps, round of 16, round of 8. First full year on tour for Chris Collins.
Mark Williams, a past Tournament of Champions winner in this center. Commissioner's exemption, made match play. Nice bowling, Mark.
Oh, yeah. And a nice shot on that lane for Chris Collins, who's dialed in there as he strikes for the second straight time.
All right, come on, let's get that right lane,
This
baby.
is quite a month for Chris Collins. He turns 37 March 11th, so that's just in a couple days. His wedding anniversary with his wife, Julie, is coming up on March 15th. Her birthday is March 16th. So a lot of things are happening in the Collins family over the next few days. And oh, by the way, they're moving back to her native Savannah, Georgia. They picked out an area near a river where Chris loves to water ski. That's all coming up. He'd like to get to that new townhouse or condo, a PBA champ for the first time. Another tough split for Normie.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough break there. That ball was just a little bit high. Instead of just leaving the 4-pin or leaving just the 9, he leaves both.
Norm down by 13 pins as we speak here. 4th frame. Kicks it across the deck, but leaves the 9, so another open frame for Norm. He's had 2 in the first 4 frames of action here, and now the deficit expands to 25 pins. Our score here today in suburban Akron. Collins is working on a strike when he steps up for his 5th frame.
And Norm is going to be in serious trouble if Chris Collins finds the right lane.
Fifth frame for Normie. Perfect shot. Exactly what Duke needed. But Collins with a chance to really take a stranglehold in this semifinal match. The winner takes on the winner of Steve Jarus, Walter Ray Williams Jr. That's coming up later today here on ESPN's live coverage, Danny's PBA Tour. Walter Ray goes for number 41 to tie Earl Anthony's all-time tour title record. See the numbers this week. Chris up 25. A strike here puts him up 35 pins.
Wow.
Man. Shrapnel everywhere, and somehow the 8-pin stands up.
Well, he thought the ball wasn't going to hit the pocket. As he lets go of this, he goes, wow. And the ball just freezes right there, and he's a stone 8. And thus far, not one player, either Norm or Chris Collins, has struck on the right lane.
So it will be a mystery for these bowlers to try to unravel here. Takes care of the single pin conversion. Chris has his wife here, Julie we saw, his twin brother Chip, his dad Ronnie, who was a great college basketball player at the University of South Carolina. There's Ronnie to the left there of Chip, who is a police detective in Fayetteville, North Carolina. His dad now lives in South Carolina, is the record holder for single season free throw percentage, college basketball at the University of South Carolina. 88%, still has the record. Set back in the early 60s. He played hoops there just before Frank McGuire came from New York and turned South Carolina into a powerhouse. Norm Duke trying to figure out the right lane and get the proper ball reaction. Later today, Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Steve Jarus head-to-head. Walter Ray goes to tie that record. The Pepsi Championship on ESPN is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. By Denny's, we're cooking now. By Dexter, where you can play with the pros. Enter to win at DexterShoe.com. And by Ace, Ace, the official hardware store of the PBA. Ace, the helpful place. First semifinal Pepsi Championship, Riviera Lanes, historic bowling center in Fairlawn, Ohio, just outside of Akron. 25-pin lead for Chris Collins right now over Norm Duke, but Norm works on a strike, heading to his 6th and 7th frames. March to the Denny's World Championship. The top 4 make the round of Super 16, bypass all qualifying. As we talked about, Tommy Jones just brilliant. He is the runaway player of the year award winner right now, unless things dramatically change. Probably won't in the next couple of weeks with 4 titles. Norm Duke right behind him in points, has been brilliant too, but still no tour wins. Yeah, it's amazing. He is second on that list without winning, but that just shows you how strong he's been all season. 6 shows for Norm Duke. That's something else. Does not win today, it'll be the most TV appearances on tour without a win since the new match play format got going. Help! Number 10! Falls late. Big strike for Norm, as we talked about, Randy, in the commercial break. This is his time to come back.
Yeah, and with a strike in the 7th frame, he's going to pull to within 5 pins, and for all the bad breaks that he just got, or that he's been getting on the right lane, he just got a good one. Another great quality shot. Norm goes, okay, now it's game on.
Most TV appearances for Norm since the year 2000 when he made 7. His career best in 91. 9 TV shows. He's been brilliant. Leaves the 4-pin there.
And you can see Norm's
Off right there. That is off.
didn't like the shot. He knew he pulled it and got it in a little bit, and it didn't take a whole lot on this pattern.
So he's down by 16 pins now. Takes care of the 4-pin, single pin spare conversion for the 22-time titleist from Claremont, Florida. Same hometown as our Randy Peterson and Jason Couch. 24th year on tour for the 41-year-old Norm Duke. Sure thing Hall of Famer in the PBA.
I actually had to be voted into the city by Norm and Jason, so it's not like if you're a professional bowler looking to move to Claremont, you can't just move there. You have to be voted in.
They do have the keys to the city, huh? 7th frame, chance for a 26-pin lead. And he's done that with a double. Now goes for the turkey, 8th frame. His wife and twin brother, Chip and Chris, very good doubles players in tennis for most of their teenage years. They played tennis, they didn't bowl. Their dad, Ronnie, right behind them, owned a bowling center in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Big shot here, chance to go up 36 pins with a turkey.
Yeah, and he's looking to put boots to Norm Duke right here.
His twin brother right behind him. Came in high, though.
Well, it looked like he was a little over-aggressive, and he pulled it. And this time fortunate to only leave the 3-6-10 without the 9-pin back there. But boy, he had a golden opportunity to really put his foot on Norm Duke's throat and just about seal the deal in this match.
Instead, now a 23-pin lead. 3-6-10. Multi-pin conversion. Has it.
Come on. All right, let's go.
Incredible to think that he and his brother got a late start, relatively speaking, in bowling. Well, they grew up around the bowling center the family owned in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Didn't take it seriously until they were really into high school. They were tennis players. Chip competed professionally in Germany for a while. Back to Norm. Huge strike.
Yeah, it is, and in my opinion, I think the only chance that Norm Duke has to win this match is by striking out 8th, 9th, and 10th frame. He's got the one in the 8th. He's got to set up the 10th frame by striking here. If he does strike out, he can shoot 214. Right now, Chris Collins, if he strikes spares, will shoot 207.
Big shot. 9th foundation frame for Duke. Chance to cut it to a 13-pin deficit. 10-pin.
Wow.
That is a big single-pin leave for Duke.
Yeah, it all but seals his fate. Right now, all Chris Collins has to do is stay clean, and he's going to advance. What a great shot Norm just made there. All he gets to show for his efforts is a ringing 10-pin.
So it appears the long streak, 24 events and counting without a win now for Norm Duke. His last title, Atlanta of last season.
That's all you got.
On Super Sunday, got by Ryan Schaefer in the final. 246, 226. Chris Collins has a chance in his second ever show to make his second final. 10 down in the pit for Chris Collins.
Come on now, one more.
Just 9 to shut out one legend on our show today. Twin brother Chip, wife Julie, they are locked in. Chip and Chris are two of the most energetic, fun guys to be around you can ever meet. Tremendous character. Chip can barely watch.
Yeah! Right there! Right there! Yeah!
The first high five is to his identical twin brother Chip, and Chris has shut out Norm Duke for a second straight time on TV. He'll advance to a final, and the unbelievable frustration continues for Duke. So consistent to get to 6 TV shows, the best on tour, still no wins.
Yeah, a pretty frustrating game that he bowled a pretty good game. I mean, he made the one shot in the second frame where he split and left a 410.
Good enough.
Follow that with a 4-9 on that same lane. Some bad carry.
Norm told us he never thought he'd make 6 shows this year. That would be
There we go. Yeah.
probably more to hope for in the preseason. He said to us last night, look, law of averages, I'm finally going to win a tour title, right? Well, not today. Chris Collins, the man of the moment from Fairlawn, North Carolina, soon to be of Savannah, Georgia. Well, he and his wife Julie moved down there. That's happening within the next few days. Walter Ray Williams Jr. and his pursuit of 41 career titles to tie the late great Earl Anthony's all-time record. That's coming your way. He'll take on Steve Jarus. Earl Anthony, who for 20 years has held on to the tour title lead.
Just looks like my lowest game of the week. It really isn't. I'll strike here and I'll beat my lowest game of the week by 34 pins. So I'm trying.
Well, at least Norm can have a little fun with this.
Trust me, he's not real happy.
I misspoke. 30 years Earl Anthony has held on to that all-time tour title record.
I know.
And a
Do it
man
again one day.
like Earl and Walter Ray, who one day will be in the Hall of Fame. Norm Duke falls one more time to the energetic Chris Collins. When we return, we'll break down the chase. Walter Ray Williams Jr. is back on TV. It's the first time all year long. He goes for number 41 when we return. The late, great Earl Anthony, regarded by many as the game's best ever. 41 times a winner on the Denny's PBA Tour. Back in 1986, a young bowler from California, Walter Ray Williams Jr., won his first ever tour title. Along the way, he won a championship in 12 straight seasons, 6 times Player of the Year, and 6 majors. Earl Anthony's record has stood since 1983. Is today the day the man they call Deadeye ties Earl's record? We find out. He is #1 all time in Denny's PBA Tour history in earnings, TV appearances, TV match wins. He's in the PBA Hall of Fame, but one shy of that all-time tour title record of Earl Anthony and 41. Welcome everyone, historic Riviera Lanes, Fairlawn, Ohio, suburban Akron. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, our entire crew with you. Live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour. Glad to get join us today. Well, we waited a long time for Walter Ray to get back on TV. Now, last season, he made TV 4 times after he won his 40th title in nearby Cleveland, Ohio, but he didn't win a match on TV. What kind of season has it been for Walter Ray as he gets back to television for the first time this year?
Well, he's had a good season, but not by his standards, but there's a lot of players on tour now that would take his season and go quietly. He came in 4th on the average list. He's 15 on the point list coming into this week. You can see with some of the stuff that he did last season. Had some struggles, didn't catch the breaks, Dave. And you can see the disgust in his face. He's not used to that happening to him.
4 times Walter Ray made television last year. The last time was at the U.S. Open when he lost to Mika Koivuniemi and eventually won by Chris Barnes, winning his first ever major. So yes, Walter Ray certainly has struggled, but now that he's back on TV, another chance, and you just know he's asked about trying to get to that record all the time.
Well, yeah, I know, but the struggles that he's had on television are due to the fact that he's only averaged 206 his last 4 times on television, and that won't get it done.
Let's hear Walter Ray Jr.'s thoughts on trying to get himself back to that title and tie Earl's record.
Winning a title is not easy to do. And, when it seems like you're going for a milestone like that, it seems like, yeah, there's a little extra pressure. But when I'm actually out there bowling, I don't really think about it. I'm thinking about my target and executing and all that. And then hopefully the pins cooperate. Unfortunately, after I won my 40th title, pins weren't cooperating at all. I mean, it was, in fact, the opposite. It was like my opponents were just getting all the breaks in the world. The only break I did get was picking up the big 4, and I still lost that game by 20 pins. So that's just kind of the way it goes. And my plan is to keep executing and make lots of TV finals, and if I make enough, eventually I'll win one. I'm not like Tommy Jones, but hopefully I'll be able to win one.
Well, Tommy Jones has won the 4 titles this year to lead the Denny's PBA Tour. Ready? Let's compare the 2 great bowlers, Earl Anthony, the lefty, and Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Well, both players relied on accuracy, speed control, and different hand positions, which all equals shot making. These guys were very precise at what they were doing. They were accurate, they controlled their speed, they were both real workmanlike, both no-nonsense kind of guys, and 2 of the most intense competitors we've ever seen.
Well, it has been a long time since Walter Ray was on TV. February of last season, the U.S. Open, one of 4 chances to tie Earl's record, but he couldn't do it. Can he do it today? Chris Collins has already defeated Norm Duke in the first semifinal, so he'll take on the winner of this match, Steve Jarus, who's won 7 titles of his own, including a Dexter Tournament of Champions. And Walter Ray Williams Jr., he goes for the record-tying win next. We are set for our second semifinal. Chris Collins looks for his first ever title. He knocked off Norm Duke in the first, and now Walter Ray Williams Jr. goes for history. Steve Jarus stands in his way. So, Steve, question to you. What is it like to compete against someone going for this all-time tour title record?
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, obviously with all the hype around the 41 titles, there's probably a little more pressure on Walter. The bad news for us is he bowls better under pressure. So, you just got to stay focused and try to make the best shots you can and try to stay ahead of him. Who knows?
Thanks, Steve.
All right.
All right, Walter Ray. We heard you a moment ago in the interview about trying to tie the record. What does it feel like to be back on TV here today?
It feels great. It's been a long time. Looked too long.
How do you feel about your chances to try to tie the record today?
Well, I got to beat Steve, and then I got to beat Chris. So I got about a 25% chance if you go by flipping a coin, equal players. But hopefully I can have a little better odds than that.
Thanks, Walter Ray. We're going for history today, Randy. Let's check out the Dexter approach.
Well, we're going to make a comparison of the 2 of the greatest bowlers that ever play this sport, starting with the late, great Earl Anthony. I want you to focus on his head movement. Watch how steady the head is. Remember, we talked about accuracy being these players' strong point. Look at that solid finish. Walter Ray a little bit different, though. He's got a lot of head movement. Watch him come up at the foul line. When he's throwing it hard, guess what? He's got even more movement. Earl's hands to the inside part of the ball. Walter Ray's is to the outside part of the ball. Both players, again, rely on speed control and accuracy. And look at the eyes taking dead aim on the target. See the movement by Walter Ray. No movement by Earl, but keep one thing in mind about Walter Ray. I think the best hand-eye coordination I've ever seen.
Randy, they call him Deadeye for a good reason. Great horseshoe pitcher. He's a champion horseshoe competitor. He's always had that unbelievable accuracy. Perhaps the best ever on the Denny's PBA Tour. Steve Jarus returns to TV with a great start. First time all year for him on television. It's been a struggle for Steve. Finally, over the last couple of weeks, is starting to get his game on track.
It started at the U.S. Open. He made match play there and finished 20th. And then last week finishing 5th, almost making the telecast last week.
Originally from California, now Ocala, Florida. Walter Ray is back on television with a tremendous first shot.
Keep in mind, Walter Ray's playing his favorite shot. I mean, that's where he likes to play. He likes to play out, gives him angle to the pocket, allows his ball to hit better because of the angle. Here's Paige Pennington, Walter Ray's wife, the lovely Paige.
Used to seeing Paige on the TV set many times in a season. Nice late help. A double to start the day for Walter Ray, and that leads us to the Ace Hardware matchup. Either player, Randy, has not made a show until this year. Steve Jaros just getting his game going. Walter Ray really has been consistent despite no TV.
Exactly. But look at that graphic there. 20 pins a game, higher average for Walter Ray Williams Jr. The quest trying to tie Earl's record. Hard to bet against that man today, but Steve Jaros may have something to say about it.
Jarus looks like he's got great ball reaction. Nice start for him. It's hard to imagine that as we see his road to TV, Steve had not made the round 16 all year until just the last couple of weeks. He hadn't won a round of 32 match play match until just this last 3-week span. Machuga, Koivuniemen, and the youngster Bill O'Neill.
Yeah,
made a final in Omaha. Went down in the round of 8.
Look who he beats to make the show, and look how he beat them. 4-0 against Machuga, 4-0 against Mika. And by the way, Billy O'Neill, tremendous young bowler, and he beats him 4-2. These guys are going real straight, and the reason why is because outside, they're real slick.
Last time we saw Steve on TV, Dexter Tournament of Champions. Randy, you, of course, competed so well in that event. Defeated Norm Duke 248-242 in the final. That was his 7th career title and first ever major. And really, last season, this year, as we see Walter Ray's road to the show over Chris Barnes' round of 8 in 5 here Friday. Very similar years for Jarus. We'll break that down for you, too. Ringing 10 for Walter Ray. Shrapnel everywhere, but nothing takes out number 10.
Well, he liked that one, too. You can see it when he ran it out. Watch this. These guys are going right to left, out of their hands, directly at the pockets, like throwing it right at the head pin. You can tell that he liked that one. And we're all tied with a spare right here.
Exactly what we've got. All even, Jarus Walter Ray in the early going of this semifinal. Winner takes on Chris Collins, waiting for his first ever Denny's PBA Tour title. Walter Ray 1 win behind Earl Anthony. Mark Roth behind them at 34 wins. Pete Weber still active at 32. Parker Bone the third. Made the show last week in Buffalo. Is next with 30 career titles.
Both players look like they have a real good ball reaction. They can get their ball to the 1-3 pocket. I think this match is going to come down to who gets the most breaks. Whose pin carry is better?
We shall see. 22 event drought, lack of TV for Walter Ray. Great shot, Steve Jarus. Speaking of good ball reaction, Randy talked about. Check the date. Make sure you realize we do not have a live Denny's PBA Tour event next week. That's because Championship Week takes over all the hoops. But on March 19th, we're back with you from Taylor Lanes in suburban Detroit. 12:30 Eastern Time, the Ace Hardware Championship as our live coverage resumes. Then we head right to the Denny's PBA World Championship. That's going to be in Indianapolis this year. Grand Rapids, and then our season finale, the Dexter Tournament of Champions in Connecticut. 10-pin for Jarus.
Well, if you're Walter Ray.
Tip it a little more. A little more.
Here's Steve talking about getting the ball to tip a little bit more. He wants a little bit more back-end reaction on that left lane. He's getting it on the right lane. When you start leaving flat 10s, though, that's kind of a sign that your ball's not hitting strong enough. Time to make an adjustment.
He lost to Walter Ray and Steve Jarus, 96 Johnny Petraglia Open and the 98 Storm Flagship Open. Steve last year really struggled until the very end. Had a couple of nice outings, then won the Dexter TOC title to get a 2-year exemption. This year he struggled throughout much of the year, although he has been exempt. Now he's turning it on again in March, his own version of March Madness. Back to Walter Ray. Yeah! 60 feet to success for the legendary Walter Ray Williams Jr. Continuing the quest for number 41. Is this his day?
Right around the first arrow, going right to left. This time he carries the ring in 10, and now he has a 10-pin lead and can extend that to 20 with a strike here in the 6th frame.
In this legendary bowling center, the closest he's come to winning a title, the '89 Firestone TOC, lost to Delbauer Jr. in the final.
Are you kidding me?
Wow, 8-pin. He can't believe it either, Randy.
You gotta be kidding me.
Great shot.
Wow.
Well, they call this the only natural tap in bowling when you leave a solid 8-pin. Bowling ball went right by it. An awful, awful break on a great shot. Could have taken a 20-pin lead there with a spare here. It'll only be 9, and life for Jarus.
Deadeye, of course, takes care of the single pin conversions. Won 6 majors, 6 times Player of the Year, but he's gone 34 events without a title. The longest in the new PBA era for Walter Ray Williams Jr. Does the drought end? Does he tie Earl Anthony? We find out. The Pepsi Championship on ESPN is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us. And by Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA. For the lowest price of any national chain, go to motel6.com. This great bowling center, of the 30 prior events hosted here, 26 have been won by bowlers who are in the Hall of Fame. That guy right there could make it number 27. The PBA Hall of Famer, Walter Ray Williams Jr., as he goes for Earl Anthony's all-time record today. With the Denny's PBA Tour heading down the home stretch, your best source for all the latest PBA news and stats is PBA.com. Keep track of the PBA players who are near the exemption cut line and the players who are in the running for a bye into the round of Super 16 at the Denny's World Championship later this month in Indianapolis. Plus, all the latest officially licensed PBA merchandise and apparel is available online at the PBA store. All that and more at PBA.com. Chris Collins awaits the winner of this exciting semifinal. Jarus down by 9. 6th frame.
Look out.
Really a high shot. Oh, what a break for Jarus, who easily could have had the 6, 7, 10.
Let's see. Wow. Let's see. Watch this. Now, this is a full yank, and it's the 6, 7, 10. And Earl Anthony is looking down going, let's see, solid 8 for you, Walter Ray, but Steve, here, let me help you out a little bit.
On the side of the 7, but it still counts.
Oh, boy.
Wow. A lot of relief, I'm sure, with his family back home in suburban Chicago. Wife June, 2 young twins. Evan and Hannah are 6 years old in 1st grade. Into soccer and baseball. Roller skating and ice skating are the kids. They're not here today, though. Rooting on Dad back home. Talk about a break, a late trip for this time for Jarus, who's living large on some breaks today in Akron.
Gotta have a little.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Steve Jarus doesn't win this match now, then there's a huge problem. But, I mean, 2 of the biggest breaks I've seen in a long time out here on tour in a televised match. Walter Ray is high flushed 6 shots in a row, and he's shooting .218 and only leading by 10 pins.
Last 4 appearances for Walter Ray on TV. Big shot there. 7th frame now for that strike in the 7th. And those are the numbers. It was a very emotional day, certainly in Medford, Oregon. That event named after Earl Anthony. And then against Rick Lawrence, that was in suburban St. Louis. Atlanta, where he did convert the Big Four but lost. U.S. Open, he lost to Meek. No TV wins since the victory in suburban Ohio over Doug Kent for his last title. Number 40. Is this the day he ties the record?
Oh, that strike there, it does not matter what Steve Jarus does the rest of the game because Walter Ray cannot be shut out. If both players go to the wall, meaning they strike out, Steve Jarus shoots .248, Walter Ray Williams Jr. a possible .258.
Works on a strike. 8 frame. Ringing 10. Wow.
Yeah, I made up for the other one I struck on.
Pins fly everywhere, but do not take out number 10.
Yeah, now he's in trouble. Now he's going to need a little help. And you heard him say it. He got a couple great breaks, makes a great quality shot there, and doesn't get a good break. Leaves a ring at 10. And the best he can shoot now is 228. Walter Ray Williams Jr. is at 228 now.
Randy, I'm very intrigued by what Steve told us last night in our interview with him about a game plan. He said this year at times he's sort of just gone with the flow, not had maybe that hardcore strategy he should have had. Perhaps that's the big reason he's turned it on in the last few weeks here.
He's real streaky, too. You know, when he sees the picture and gets it going, he bowls really well for 3, 4, 5 weeks at a time.
10 pin again for him. And the chance is now very slim that he will be able to take out Walter Ray in this semifinal for the right to play Chris Collins for the championship.
Well, quite honestly, this match shouldn't even be close. I mean, Walter Ray could theoretically have the front 8 while Steve Jaros is shooting 2-0. Walter should be, 40, 50 pins up, but hey, that's bowling. Steve got some breaks. Walter Ray left a solid 8, and we still have a game.
Steve has been on TV in this historic building back in '94. Stepladder final. Last TOC held here, won by Norm Duke. Chance here for Walter Ray to put it away with a strike. 9th frame. Does Walter Ray have it? You bet! Walter Ray Williams Jr. for the first time all season on TV finally has a victory. And he'll go to the final to take on Collins.
Just keep it on the lane, stay behind the foul line, 7 pins. And he's going to bowl for the title.
He'll do that and more. Old Deadeye is back, and his wife Paige knows it. Told us last night he is bowling the best he has all year long. Top ball reaction. And we've always known with his incredible focus, mentality of a champion, once he got it all together, he would be tough to beat. He's been so close 3 times prior to this event. He made the round of 8. The last time he lost to the youngster Sean Rash in Parkersburg, West Virginia in the round of 8, a 7-gamer. But today, Steve Jarus will not have enough to take out the legend.
It's nice to see Steve Jarus bowling well again, and just keeps building on the last 3 weeks where he's bowled real well and he's had a good ball reaction. He's throwing it better. He's got confidence again.
We'll fast track to the end of this one, folks, since it has been clinched by Walter Ray. Jarus entering today 29th on the Denny's PBA Tour rankings list, so he would be exempt. Of course, he's exempt anyway after winning the TOC a year ago. But as he told us last night, I'm a little bit concerned already about next season. My exemption expires after 06-07. And at that point, you got to worry about winning again, trying to make yourself get in that top amount of bowlers under the cut line. The moment belongs to Walter Ray Williams Jr. Not only is he back on TV, he knocks off Steve Jarus and now is 1 game away, 1 match from tying Earl Anthony's record of 41 tour titles. When we return, the Denny's PBA Tour Skills Challenge. Norm Duke, Chris Barnes going head-to-head. It's going to be a lot of fun. Be sure to stay tuned. Welcome back to Action, everyone. Special thanks. Hello to Scott Cicadas, Regional Sales Manager for Pepsi Cola. Title sponsor of this week's Pepsi Championship from Riviera Lanes, Fairlawn, Ohio, near Akron. This historic bowling center may see some real history today. Chris Collins head-to-head with Walter Ray Williams Jr. coming up next. Major League Baseball is coming your way after our live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour. Sunday afternoon, ESPN, it's Ivan Rodriguez leading Puerto Rican national team against David Wright and the New York Mets in preparation for the World Baseball Classic. Major League Baseball spring training on ESPN next. For more, log on to ESPN.com. It's coming your way after bowling. How about some Denny's PBA Tour Skills Challenge action? We already saw Norm Duke on the lanes once today. He battles Chris Barnes now. It's time for the Denny's PBA Tour Skills Challenge. Norm Duke, Chris Barnes in the semifinal.
Towel shot. We're going to throw this thing through the chair. We're going to throw it underneath David. And we're going to, whoever knocks...
Yeah, you're going to have a hard time getting through that one. You can use it if you want. Yeah, good luck using that chair, Norm.
Pocket region. High count, must go through the chair. High count for the strike. Oh!
Easy does it on the camera, Norm. Those are very expensive.
I'm up 2-0 now.
To the chair, which it goes. 6 pins.
That's a bad count right there.
Luckily, our young man's all right.
I've tried this once before. It's okay. I didn't hurt myself at all. All right.
7 or more. He gets the first strike. Oh! He's going right at it.
Yes!
He's got 9 and gets the strike.
Let's do the 2, 3, 8, 9.
All right, Randy, 2, 3, 8, 9. What do you think?
Right down the middle. Oh, that's close.
Yes! Double wood. Now Norm's got a match. Or Barnes goes up 2 strikes to none. Norm cannot. Big lead, Chris Barnes.
You want to see that one?
Consortium.
Let's do it. 310 on there on 952.
Norm's got a caddy.
Well, he made the suggestion. We'll see if it works out for him. Nails them both between the legs. Oh, that spin. The ball looks right for the spare.
Norm not showing the defending champ any respect.
Okay, we're on the board, dog.
One strike for Norm.
All right, I'm going to explain this to you. I'm going to throw one spin. It's going to slow. And when he gets down there, I'm going to bank one off the other and make it 17.
This is the sickest shot when it's done right. I've only seen Norm do this about twice out of 100 attempts.
He has done it before on the Denny's PBA Tour Skills Challenge. All right, now he's going to pick up the other ball and make it all work. Can he do it? What a shot, Norm Duke. Chris looks a little unsure of himself, even in a spin ball here, Randy.
Yeah, it's not looking good. That's not headed off real good already. We're in a high gutter soon.
Hit the ramp. Come on, ramp.
No.
Okay.
He'll have to use the ball in the gutter, maybe.
Oh.
This would take a miracle, and
That one's pretty good. It's
2 strikes each.
What's this in this right now? I know he's good at this, but that's all I got left.
He's going back to the old trademark towel shot, Randy. No chair this time. High count. Earns the strike and gets the win. Okay, 9 pins down.
few more that I really wanted to see.
Well, I was kind of hoping for 6 or 7. You know what I was hoping for?
A little up here. Last time Chris did this shot, he actually got 9s. That'd be good enough for a tie.
Instead, he'll get 8, and Norm Duke wins it 3 strikes to 2. Norm makes the final. A 3-2 win over Chris Barnes. Coming up, PBA Skills Challenge semifinal. Tony Reyes, Mike Machuga. We will see the ramp shot. It's in a couple of weeks on ESPN. Let's go on the road with the Denny's PBA Tour. After a 1-week hiatus due to championship week next Sunday, the tour returns to Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan for the 20th time. The list of players who have won titles there are very impressive, including names such as the reigning Player of the Year Patrick Allen, Hall of Famers Tom Baker, Walter Ray Williams Jr., Parker Bowles III, and Brian Voss. Then March 26th, the third major of the Denny's PBA Tour season takes place. Woodland Bowl, Indianapolis, which hosts the pros for the 23rd time. Patrick Allen looks to defend his title in the Denny's World Championship. Tommy Jones tries to complete the second part of the Jackson Hewitt $1 Million Challenge as well. Win the last 3 majors, he wins $1 million. He's already won the U.S. Open. When we come back to suburban Akron, Ohio, will Walter Ray Williams Jr. tie the record, the all-time mark of 41 tour titles? Earl Anthony has it. Walter Ray Williams Jr. wants it. There are the scores to this point. Collins over Duke, first semifinal. Walter Ray Williams Jr. knocked off Steve Jarus in the second. That means Collins and Walter Ray are head-to-head. Randy, let's check out the Geico Championship recap.
All righty, Dave. In semifinal number 1, first ball in the 10th frame for Chris Collins. That seals the deal as he takes down Norm Duke by the score of 215 to 183. In semifinal number 2, Walter Ray Williams Jr. strike here in the 9th frame, looking to make history, taking out Steve Jarus by the score of 247 to 207, setting up a great championship match in the Denny's PBA Tours Pepsi Championship.
Good luck handshake, and Collins will start. Just his second TV appearance. And twice, Randy, impressively enough, he's won that first match and made the final twice. And he's been hot. Look at that 10-game win streak coming in. Can he make it 11? 10-pin.
Yeah, almost 7-10, but that's all right. Just the 10-pin will work. And you're right, Dave. He's been in this position before, albeit just one other time, but you know, nothing. There's nothing like experience.
With the close members of his family here watching in person. Collins has a 10-pin. And as we've seen very clearly, he and his brother Chip are very much identical. In fact, Chip has been asked for Chris's autograph before at tour stops. Chris, great job making the show. Could I have your autograph? Well, it's actually Chip.
The glasses give him away, though, Dave.
They are something. Couple characters. Walter Ray start. Perfect. Is he going to have to make adjustments, Randy, as the lanes break down here?
Well, it looked like he had a little bit of early hook on the left lane. And, you know, he wants to stay in that same zone. So if he does make an adjustment, it's probably not going to be a big move. He might just go to a little bit more speed or a little loft. We'll see right now. No loft in that shot.
Wow, talk about crunching all 10 down to the pit. Leading us to the Ace Hardware matchup. Collins has never won on tour. Walter Ray goes for historic number 41. Talk about opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, and Walter Ray has made a little bit more money too, about $3.2 million more. But it's all about history today.
Chris Collins wants to make his own history, win his first ever title. Chris, relatively new to the tours we talked about. He's been bowling in other events for many years. We talked about his pro tennis years as well. He had to fight off an elbow injury that kept him from playing a lot of pro doubles with his twin brother, Chip. They were all Americans, Division III at Methodist College in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And we talked to him, Randy, yesterday about the history of this building. He said, you know, it's kind of before my time. I'm worried about myself right now, and that's probably a pretty good approach.
Yeah, you know, the one thing that really stands out to me when you watch Chris Collins is that he doesn't appear to be nervous, and I just don't know how you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you can bowl under this type of pressure in this situation and not be a little nervous. And he just doesn't appear, he just looks like he's out there having fun. Maybe that's the right mindset.
Other finishers, round of 32 on, bottom of your screen. Number 5 wiggles and down she goes. So a turkey to start this championship match for Walter Ray. He's won a title 12 straight years. If he gets to 13, he'd be one shy of Earl's record of 14 consecutive years, with at least one title under his belt. The last time he didn't win a championship on tour, 92. He made a then career low 4 TV appearances, and look out, it just didn't grab the oil, and it's way light as he leaves the washout.
Just a bad shot. Walter Ray just made a bad shot. You got it too far right. You're going right to left on this pattern. You know the last thing you cannot do playing outside on this shark pattern is make a mistake to the right.
Covers! Well, maybe that's the big difference between last year and this. We saw the highlights of the 4 TV shows after Cleveland, where he won number 40. Had some bad breaks, didn't get the good carry, maybe some judgmental errors, and couldn't pick up those crucial spares. But today, maybe it's all different because the washout converted by Walter Ray. A brilliant spare there to keep clean in a title match with Chris Collins. Walter Ray Williams Jr. told us last night, sometimes the well-wishers who ask him, well, what's the matter? When did he get that 41st title? Helps him bowl better and feel better about himself. Other times, boy, just hear it all the time. Dave Seidel, Dick Gilbert, AMF Riviera Lanes proprietors, hosting another wonderful PBA Tour event. This center has been part of incredible history. Walter Ray's never won here, as we talked about early in the broadcast. Did make a TOC final once. Chris has never won on tour, period. Looks for the turkey, 4th frame. Chance to take a 4-pin lead. That's way right.
Nice shot.
Avoids the washout. That's the good news. The bad news is 1, 2, 4.
That was about terrible. Lower David, dude.
Well, it just took a page out of Walter Ray's book on the last shot that Walter Ray threw when he whiffs the head pin. The only good news for Chris Collins, he doesn't leave the 10 pin with that cluster.
Does cover nicely, but breaks his strike streak, and it keeps this match very close. Chris told us last night, what better way to win your first title than against a legend? He knew there was a possibility that he'd take on Walter Ray for the title, and that has come to fruition today. Perfect shot on that lane.
That's much better. Much better.
And he knows.
Golly.
An improvement there.
Chris is not intimidated by any player out here. And I think that obviously is a huge help for him, especially when he takes out the likes of Norm Duke and now goes up against Walter Ray.
All 10 down for Walter Ray. Hard to imagine we saw that stat 78 times bowling for a title in his great career as he goes for historic number 41 today. Can he tie Earl Anthony's all-time tour title record? That's a lot of championship match appearances, Randy.
I mean, we're used to seeing Walter Ray on the show 6-7 times a year. Hard to believe it's his first telecast of the season.
Last title, November 14th of 04, getting by Doug Kent for the championship. That's a high shot. 4-7-10. Disastrous split.
Not good.
You know, it pains me to say this, but you almost knew something like this was coming after the last shot that he threw on that lane when he missed the head pin. You knew that the last thing he was going to do was miss right. Instead, he misses left and pays for it.
Almost gets the conversion, but leaves the 10 pin. It's an open frame. In the 6th, we'll see if Chris Collins now can put the hammer down. Walter Ray knows it's not good indeed. He's got a chance to take a lead of 13 pins, up 3 now. Works on a strike.
This could be the shot that eventually wins him his first title. Right here, working on a strike, 6th frame. Huge shot. Takes the lead right there on that shot. Leading by 13. If he were to win today, he would knock Chris Hayden out of the Dexter Tournament of Champions.
Chris, last one in your neck of the woods in Orlando. February of '03, that long ago. Twin brother Chip, wife Julie. Dad Ronnie, all watching closely.
My neck of the nape of the woods. Why are you here? That's what you meant to say.
Right. Not really, partner.
Okay, big shot here. Can take a 23-pin lead with a strike.
Points for the Turkey, 7th frame.
Oh, yeah!
Stranglehold on the match for Chris Collins. Can you believe? In just his second ever show, has the Turkey.
Atta baby, come on.
That was awfully big.
Walter Ray has to feel demoralized right here. After the big split left lane, he chose to finish on the left lane. He gets a choice of which lane he finishes on. He finishes the match on. He was a #1 qualifier. He decides to finish on the left lane. The last 2 shots on the left lane, he goes washout and through the face for a split, leaving the 4-7-10.
See the score there, especially that open frame in the 6th for Walter Ray. Does strike, but still down 23. Cut it to 13. But Collins has 3 in a row going. Again,
Just lost it.
cannot find the 1-3 pocket. There's a breakdown. Randy detailed that a moment ago about wanting to finish on that left lane as a stronger lane. However, struggles. And leaves the 8-pin. Chris Collins has all but wrapped this up. 2 late opens now for Walter Ray in the 6th and 8th will seal his fate. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm speechless. I'll tell you what, you can hear a pin drop in here right now. Chris Collins is on his way to winning his first ever Denny's PBA Tour title. Working on a 3-bagger in the 220s, 8th frame.
Chance for a 45-pin lead here to pretty much end it. Oh, he gets some help on number 10, and that will put him in the driver's seat to wrap this one up. Unbelievable break for Collins. How about number 10 going down? 4-bagger, 9th foundation frame. The lead is ballooned to 45 pins thanks to Walter Ray's major struggles with the 2 opens. Chance to go up 55. He'll do it! Chris Collins is on the verge of clinching his first ever Denny's PBA Tour title.
Way to go, baby, way to go.
And looking to derail Walter Ray's hopes of tying Earl's record. Incredible.
Well, the best Walter Ray can shoot is 212. Chris Collins is in the 240s. He doesn't even need a mark in the 10th frame. Just keep it on the lane. Chris Collins has won his first tour title, a berth into the Dexter Tournament of Champions. His wife knows the score.
She can't believe it. I think they may get to upgrade now to a bigger house in Savannah, Georgia. That's where they're going to move this week. They have made that plan. And I'm sure the family is elated. They've made the trip from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Dad Ronnie, the great South Carolina basketball player in his day. Chip and Chris, tremendous doubles players. They play professionally in Europe. Now it's bowling, and he is the man of the moment. He's about to take out Walter Ray. And you're right, Randy. It's just silent in here. I think the only people whooping it up are the Collins family. That's it.
Well, I know a lot of people wanted to see Walter Ray break, or at least tie the record today. But you know, you really got to hand it to Chris Collins. Great game he bowled. He strikes out. He's going to shoot 267. That's not the last time you're going to see that man right there.
Certainly not. But this must be extraordinarily disheartening to come so close. One match away, a few frames away from tying the record. Chris Collins is a Denny's PBA Tour champion. And he and his brother Chip, a police detective from Fayetteville, North Carolina, who just got promoted, he told us this week, to sergeant, have a lot to celebrate. This incredible month of birthdays and wedding anniversaries, a new home for Chris and his wife in Georgia, and somehow Walter Ray's got to dig down and find a way to come back.
Chip is a sarge, and Chris was in charge. Just go with it.
Well said, partner, well said.
All right, man.
Here comes Chip. You knew that was coming. The identical twins celebrate, and now wife Julie. Watch your step. Gets the victory hug too. First ever title. And the end of this week's quest for Walter Ray. 40 times he's won, but number 41 still eludes the great Walter Ray Williams Jr. Dad Ronnie celebrates with son Chris. He's a champion on the Denny's PBA Tour. The Pepsi Championship on ESPN is brought to you by Denny's. We're cooking now. By BowlersParadise.com, the official online retailer of the Professional Bowlers Association. Log on today and win a free ball. By Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. This year, let the tax experts at Jackson Hewitt help you get the biggest refund you deserve. And by Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. The late great Earl Anthony broke the tour title record back in 1976. He's held it now for 30 years, and he'll hang on to it for at least 2 more weeks because Walter Ray Williams Jr. and his bid falls a little bit short for number 41. You can tell he's still shocked, a little bit surprised and disappointed with this loss. Randy Peterson now joined by the very happy Collins family.
Thanks, Dave. And Chris, you took down 2 of the biggest names in our sport today to win your first ever title. Describe how it feels.
I'll tell you, it's pretty exciting for me, having to beat Norm Duke and Walter Ray in one day. I never thought for my first title that would happen, but I've always dreamed of winning my first title against a legend like one of the 2, so it feels really good today.
It just seems to me that you're not intimidated by anybody that you take on, and that certainly was the case today. Why is that?
The last few years, before I got my exempt status, I bowled out here half a season for the past 3 years, so I kind of got in the mix a little bit, and you got used to bowling with all the the legends and the big names. So I'm just really comfortable now out here being exempt, so it's not too much of a fright for me.
And describe how it feels to have your family here to support you.
Oh, it's wonderful. Without them, I mean, none of this would even mean anything to me. My wife has been my biggest supporter since day one. My brother, we're so close. My dad, Ronnie, it's a close, tight family here.
Is it everything you thought it would be?
Oh yeah, I don't think it's sunk in yet. I'll be real excited once we leave here.
Congratulations, Chris Collins. Dave?
What a moment for the entire Collins family, Randy. Twin brother Chip, he may have been happier than Chris was. Unbelievable. As Walter Ray's quest for number 41 falls shy one more time. It's 5 straight shows Walter Ray has tried to catch Earl and couldn't do it. Chris Collins, an incredible story, folks. Finished 7th at this year's tour trials in Maryville, Indiana, just to become exempt, and now he's defeated Walter Ray for his first ever title. Hugs and congratulations all around the Collins family. Twin brother Chip, dad Ronnie. Don't forget, 2 weeks. Mark your calendars, March 19th, Ace Hardware Championship, Taylor, Michigan to Southside Detroit. Next week is Championship Week on ESPN, ESPN2. Lots of college basketball. We take the week off. Look forward to seeing you March 19th, live, 12:30 Eastern from Taylor. Man of the moment without question from Fayetteville, North Carolina, soon to be from Savannah, Georgia. He and Julie are moving there this week. Chris Collins and Walter Ray's quest again gets derailed. Chris Collins able to knock off 2 great bowlers to win a Denny's PBA Tour title. Norm Duke, not good enough. Walter Ray, not good enough today. The ball reaction just right for Chris Collins. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now for the entire crew, my partner Randy Peterson, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Fairlawn, Ohio, near Akron, and historic Riviera Lanes. MLB spring training, the Puerto Rican national team, the New York Mets, coming up next here on ESPN. Chris Collins, a winner on the PBA Tour today.